Good morning, my name is Levici, and I give permission for this video to be publicly available. For my SLE, I chose to do a video game because I find that video games are very useful for reducing stress and for helping people deal with the problems of daily life. For my video game, I specifically chose a brighter color palette, and the story has a lot of lighter themes, which I think definitely is more useful for stress relief than something that is darker. So for my video game, story-wise, the character is a bunny, and the bunny is going out in search of the golden carrot. And the golden carrot is basically they're going out in search of it as a medicine for their one true love who is sick. Along the way, the player character will meet a bunch of different NPCs. I have a total of 20 NPCs with tons of dialogue trees and tons of different options, and they will also have to deal with an overwhelming threat of evil that threatens the rest of the forest and back home where the bunny lives. The player's ultimate goal is to deal with both the threat of evil and to get the golden carrot for their one true love. There are several different endings that can take place depending on who the player decides to help, who they decide to ignore, or whether or not they decide to take on the extra quests that are in the game. If they choose not to, they can still finish the game, but it's not the best ending. So I started building the game in Unity because I found Unity was really useful in that it has a good physics system that's already set up for making these kinds of games. So the major script that I have right now is the player movement script, and it is built in C++, and it's object-oriented, so the script itself is actually a lot shorter than what it would be if you had to write it all out by hand. So most of the script is just setting booleans to trigger animations or checking what the player is doing, if they're pressing space or if they're moving side to side. It's also setting how quickly I want the bunny to move, how quickly I want the bunny to dash, that kind of thing. And you can see on here that I have some map built, but my map actually went through several different iterations, and this is not the current iteration that I think will be in the final product. So my map started out looking a lot like this, where I have a lot of these squares, and I figured it would be easiest to do it this way in pixel art, but honestly, if I was doing it this way with pixel art, I would have to draw in textures into all of these pixels, and this is 2000 by 2000 pixels, so it's a lot. So I wanted to go a little bit more natural looking than that, and I considered this one, where you can see the player character down here at the bottom. I once again decided against this because I realized I would have to draw textures all throughout this, and that would take a very long time. And I kind of settled on a medium between the boxy and the natural, in that most of the map is going to be made up of these platforms, which I can cut and paste into different orders to make it look more natural, but still not have to redraw all of the textures every time. As you can see, I'm also working on some cloud platforms, which I think will be nice. So this is great, but this wouldn't really work for boss rooms, so I'm going to have to draw the boss rooms naturally, which is fine, because it's just a little bit of extra work to make the boss rooms look unique. From there, I really started focusing on the bosses, because I had the player. So the bosses, I've been between two different kinds of animation styles. One which involves drawing out every step of the animation like this one, and this is the woodpecker boss, they're the first boss, or drawing a picture and moving the pixels around like this one. And this is the owl boss. He is the final boss. I'm still really unsure of which one I prefer, but I think having both of them as an option is always good. Um, Here I have some of the items that I will be placing in the game. We have an apple, a leaf sword, a key, a carrot, a bottle cap, and just some other items. And these will be things that the player will pick up and interact with to either complete quests or to open doors or to, move on in the game. And then this is my new design for the player. So I originally had the player as this gray sprite sheet of bunnies. And I used gray specifically because I don't have to keep track of what patterns they have or anything like that. But as I was developing the game more, I realized that I wanted to go in a different direction and I didn't want all of the animals to be on 4 legs. So from that, I moved towards something that felt like the bunny was actually an adventurer. They have actual patterns now. They have a sword, they have a shirt, but still kind of keeping the original feel of like it's a bunny. And then here I have, this is the NPC that the player will interact with to save the game. It's a fox with a little booklet and it keeps track of the player's stories. And then here's one of the NPCs that does a side quest. So this is a possum mother, and she's looking for all of her kids. And the goal of this side quest is the player has to go around and find all of the kids, it's this little possum baby drawing up here. They have to find them and bring them back to the mother. Specifically, when they find them and bring them back, they can't take any hits or the kids will drop off and they will have to go grab them again. So it's a bit of a longer side quest, but it does unlock a different ending if the player does it. And that is it for my presentation. Thank you for listening and have a good day.